This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This your boy Black Megas. It feels so good to be back. For those who don't know, I've been going through the annual PC spring cleaning. So I haven't been really doing commentaries all this week because I cleaned off my hard drive, reinstalled Windows, and then I went through the whole process of putting all the stuff that I backed up back on, and putting all the software on. And I just put Audacity back on, so now I can do my commentaries. So yay me. Anyway, so this past week we had some crazy entertainment events happen. One being, of course, Avengers Endgame. I haven't seen it yet at the time of this recording, but by the time you guys see this video, I'll probably be coming from the movie theaters or actually sitting in my seat getting ready to watch Endgame. So you can't get me with spoilers. How I avoided spoilers, I have no fucking clue, but I did. At least nothing that I would consider a spoiler. And you can tell it's been a while since I've recorded because I totally did not mute my phone. But it's okay. We're gonna rock with this. Anyway, so the other major entertainment event that occurred was Game of Thrones, episode 3 for season 8, The Long Night, or The Longest Night. I forget exactly which it is, but it was probably their longest episode, or at least one of their longest episodes. I do remember a couple of season finales maybe teetering on this time limit. It is said to be the longest battle ever in show history, and a lot of people are saying that it may rival the Battle of Helm's Deep from the Two Towers Lord of the Rings movie. It definitely was an event. So first, let's get this portion of it out. The visuals. A lot of people complained that they couldn't see it because it was very, very dark. Now, for me, it wasn't. And I'm not trying to be that guy, but I do realize that with the TV that I have, I probably had a better viewing situation than some people. That being said, I also feel the pain that some people have, especially after the director of photography came out and dropped that dick comment. Like, okay, I understand. Yes, it was intentionally done to be in the dark. Totally get that. I understand that maybe some people's stuff, their equipment, whatever they're viewing, may not be able to correctly project it. At the same time, there's really no reason for you to try to denigrate people and say, well, maybe you don't know how to set your TV right, or maybe you shouldn't watch it on the iPad. That's the most asinine, dickish comment that you could make. It's like, okay, the point of the matter is, unless you had certain types of equipment, you probably weren't going to see it well, and that's kind of a mistake on their part, because you want to, I get the mood and the setting you were going for, but you have to be very, very mindful of how it's going to come out on multiple displays. I think that's the thing. They didn't even consider that, and I've noticed that in a lot of things as we move forward with technology. Like, a lot of people kind of make their stuff geared towards people who have a higher end of equipment to handle it, and don't consider that not everybody is out there with 4K TVs and or do crazy fine tuning for their video settings and all of that. It's it was just a weird thing that I thought that they did when they came up with their comments about that. Like, I totally accept the whole they were trying to go for the whole dark, mysterious, set the mood thing, but you have to own up to the fact that visually it might not have come off well for certain people, or for not everybody would be able to capture it in the proper light. And that you may have wanted to take another direction with it. You could say that and not be a dick. You know what I mean? Anyway, moving on. As far as the episode itself, the shit was fucking insane. And this phone thing is going to annoy me because I feel like the fact that I didn't mute it, everybody's going to now want to send me messages when nobody wanted to talk to me before I started recording. Isn't that funny how that always works? Anyway, episode was phenomenal. I loved everything that happened to it. Like, yo, I knew from the beginning that the Dothraki were going to get their ass waxed. Even with the lit up swords and all that from Melisandre. I was like, yo, I don't know if I'm going to be sending in my horse straight into a horde of, like, onrushing dead people. I get it, especially in the, kind of medieval type, warfare in which Game of Thrones is kind of set in a more medievalish fantasy time. Everybody feels like fucking cavalry is the like key. You start out with the cavalry, you slam into the like on foot people, you whittle down their like ranks, and then you like pull back, and then whatever's left you just feed it into the grinder, which is your formations and all of that. It's dumb. It's fucking dumb, especially like thinking about who you're facing. But at the same time, I get it. They don't know who they're facing, and plus, the Dothrakis whooped everybody's fucking ass. Like, we've never seen the Dothraki lose like a battle in the 8 years that this show has been on. And the first time they face something that's of equal, if not worse, odds, what happens? They get mauled. They got mashed the fuck out. And it was like really, really again, this is where the darkness thing comes into play, which why I could kind of understand that, because seeing those lights from the flames of the swords go out one by one, that shit was just like fucking like heartbreaking. That shit like was deflating. And if you felt what the people on the front lines felt, it's like, yo, they ain't been out there but for like 2-3 minutes. What the fuck? They done already? And then you see them some of them running on foot, horses running away. You got your man Jorah coming in all like battered and bruised and shit like that. Like he's just been fighting for like 5 hours. Like, yo, you weren't there for more than 3 minutes. Like, your charge was longer than the fucking like fight. What the fuck is going on? So you just knew it was gonna be on then, and then you hear the noise of the rush. You see people start getting nervous. You got Brienne screaming to people to hold the line and shit like that. I'm sure there was like a huge smell of excrement at that time as everybody shitted and pissed their pants once they saw the dead there. That shit was wild. And then you see them hit the front lines of the Unsullied and shit like that. It's like, yo, wow, there's a lot of these motherfuckers, and they're just like slamming into them with reckless abandon because they're dead. They don't care. It's just all going crazy, chaos and all that. Ranks are falling. People are getting killed. It was just mad. It was just like fucking chaos everywhere. And finally, when Dany came through with the dragon, I understood what John was trying to say, like, yo, we can't break the plan, but she was like, yo, nah, this shit's fucked already. We gotta do something, or else they're gonna get swallowed up now, and what the fuck? So they take the dragons, and they, like, try to, like, burn out some of the ranks and all of that, but it's just, like, wave after wave. You gotta think, in the time that we were introduced to the dead, to the time that they got to this point, they have been just taking lives and raising up, dead souls, like, again and again. I had to take a sip of my drink because exhausting myself talking about this because the emotions are coming out. But it's just like, yo, it's just wow. You see all these like crazy things happen. Finally, they get to a point where it's like, yo, we got to pull back. We got to like light the trenches. They couldn't light the trenches. The winter storm starts from the Night King, and that's when you really couldn't see anything. Like, again, for those who couldn't see before, I know you really couldn't see then. Because that shit, even me on my TV, I was like, yo, you can't see shit right now. It's like all fucked up. It's dark and you got snowstorms. What the hell? I was feeling like Danny and John on those dragons. Like, what the fuck is going on? Where is everybody else at? And they were supposed to light the trench, but they couldn't. It was cool to see Melisandre come through. By the way, I thought her coming back and saying like to Davos, "Don't worry, you don't have to kill me. I'll be dead by the end of the night." I thought that was cool. I was trying to figure out how was she going to die. Like, I figured she was going to die some heroic way, not the way she did. But it was cool that she was able to light the trench. Still, they just stood there, and like when they were standing there behind that flame, just like staring at the people who were inside the walls of Winterfell, I was like, yo, these motherfuckers ain't playing. They are not. They don't care. They really, really don't care. So eventually, the flames get abated because they start making like burning dead bridges. They literally use their bodies to form a fucking bridgehead. And that was fucking crazy. And it's like you just see the swarm up the wall and people get knocked off the wall and they just piling up looking like World War Z. Like, it was wild. Like, yo, whew, I'm exhausted, y'all, already. And we're probably just like about halfway through the episode. Jesus Christ. And you see everybody just fighting tooth and nail. You see the fucking like thing break through, and this is the first big well, it's not the first big heartbreak because there was a heartbreak before as Dolores Ed saved Sam and he got like stabbed in the back and killed. That was fucked up. It's like, yo, this pessimistic, always we're gonna die dude who swore he was gonna die in every battle leading up to this season never died. The one time where he's like, it's funny because he was probably the less pessimistic that I've ever seen him leading up to this battle. He was actually trying to encourage Sam beforehand. And it's like, now he finally gets it. After he called it, like, all these years. It's like, well, you finally got your wish, I guess. You've been calling for, like, how fucked you were all through the whole show. Now you are fucked. That was fucked up. But no, the most heartbreaking thing was little Lyanna. Lyanna Mormont, Lady Mormont, god damn it. As soon as she like argued down Jorah and said she was going to be in the battle, I was like, they're going to kill this baby. I was so fucking mad because I was like, they're going to kill this baby. Really, y'all? Y'all going to do this to me? And like you saw the like once they like got over the bridge and you saw the like undead giant come through and just smack the shit out of her. I was like, oh. But then you notice she was still alive and she gets up. It's like everything in me was like, just go hide. Please go hide. Just don't stand there. Leave. Somebody grab her. Pick her up and take her away to safety. And then she lets out her war cry and I was like, aw. And she just like rushes them because she sees this thing just murdering her men. Like, yo, say what you want about anybody else. Ain't nobody go harder than Lyanna Mormont. I'm sorry. She went harder than everybody on that show, with the exception of maybe Arya. Like Lady Mormont, and I will always call her Lady Mormont, not little Lyanna. Nah, that's Lady Mormont. Because she showed her grit, like, when they came and asked her for help, when they went to the Battle of the Bastards, when they called for, like, union between the North, and she, like, called for Jon to be king of the North. Every time she was on the screen, she did not act like a little child. She was in control. She was in command. She was well trained for her position. The Mormounts was a house that didn't take no, like, shorts. They didn't play no games, and it showed. And I kind of wish we would have got to see more of her mom, because if you've ever read the books, you'll know from the books as well that her mom, and I believe her sister as well, if I can remember, they don't play no games either, So, yeah, man, but when she got that giant, when the giant started to crush, you could hear her insides crush. I was like, no, but I was just so happy that she was able to kill it and take it out with her. She was just like, fuck that, I'm going, you going, we all going out here, motherfucker. She did the damn thing, but I just wish she didn't have to go, man. That was probably my most regrettable death in this show, out of all the people who died, that we knew in this show. So the battle's just going poorly. They're just flushing them. It was a couple of times I thought Grey Worm was gonna get it, like when they were doing the protector the retreat. I thought he was gonna die then. During the whole chaos in the courtyard, I thought he was gonna die then. Grey Worm, though, he was doing his damnedest. You got the people in the crypt, like, just chilling. You had some touching moments in the crypt. Like, you had like the humor between Varys and Tyrion, and you had Tyrion and Sansa have their little moment and things like that. It was pretty cool. And then you had Arya just being a badass with her fucking double tip staff and shit. Just like wailing on people after. Of course, once the fire start, who bitches up? The Hound. Because every time he see fire, he bitches up. Kind of can't blame him, but it's like, dude, I need you to get over this shit right now. I know your brother put your face in fire and all that, yada, 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 yada. You got a bunch of dead motherfuckers coming. And then he's crying like, they're dead, we can't win. And like, Dondarrion is like, yo, you want us to quit? Say that to her, and pointing at Arya, while Arya's just like going like ham on everybody. Like, yo, stop being a bitch, motherfucker. Nut up and get your shit together. Please. Fucking please. Stop the whining. Like, god damn it. We're all out here fucking scared of shit. Getting our asses kicked. People getting fucked up and shit like that. You won't want to go out like a punk right now. Fucking like everybody's like doing their damnedest. Even the people who got offed are fucking like fighting tooth and nail till the bitter end. And you sitting here crying because you see some fire. Get your PTSD ass together. No, I'm joking, because I would never like say that to somebody who has PTSD for real. But for the Hound, it just bothered me that he just like did that. It just really bothered me, because all the shit this guy talks about people and all of that, and it's like, come on, dude. Your survival instincts. But again, it's kind of understandable. It was a traumatizing event with him and his brother. I just felt like it was just more than just that, though. I just felt like he just kind of folded under the pressure as well of the moment. And again, talking all the shit I'm talking, I can't say that I would be standing here 10 feet tall, like slashing and killing all the dead. Like, you can't kill me, motherfuckers. I'm going to take on many as I would probably be more close to what Sam was, which was he was there, but he was kind of wishing he wasn't there. It's like he was fighting his fear, but this fear was overcoming, and he was like falling down and shit like that and crying. He wanted to run, like with everything. I would probably be more like Sam. I mean, Sam is probably what most of us would be. Like, we could say all the shit we want about the people who, like the Hound, who did like do stupid things or bitched up or whatever, but we would probably more so be like Sam, just out there surviving by sheer luck and fucking scared to death. Like, hey, but it was just crazy. You got Arya being chased in the hall. That shit scared the fuck out of me. Like, her assassin training came in really clutch to get her out of some situations, but she got saved by the Hound, because the Hound, he reminded her like the only person he ever like cared to try to save was her. So I guess revealing like, yeah, well, you're somebody I care about. And that showed through because he finally got his shit together, and him and Barrick ran through those halls and like to like get her from the hordes of dead that was chasing her. Barrick, of course, got killed finally. Although for someone who like kept coming back from death and he was finally dying, it was like, yo, you going extra hard because you seriously can't die. Maybe it wasn't just the magic. Maybe you're just somebody who just can't be killed by simple means. That man must have been stabbed like 50 times before he finally like, and he didn't even die from this like immediately being stabbed. It's like you been stabbed 50 times, yet you were still able to walk into the room, close and lock the door, and then take your ass down, settle down, and have a seat. Bam. Like, he didn't just like pass out or fall over. Nah, he literally like just like, all right, let me go relax here, scoot up against this wall, take a breather. Oh shit, I'm dead. Boom. Like he ain't know he was dead. He wasn't trying to die. That man, like, fucking, good lord, he had more than just the like the Lord of the Light on his side. Seriously. But you get the conversation with Melisandre as you find out she's in the room that the Hound and Arya hid out in, and she's talking about like, we've met before, and like I told you before, like you know, I see three people whose life you're gonna take in your eyes, like blue eyes. She said green eyes, brown eyes, and blue eyes. Not in that order, but she made sure to point out the blue eyes thing, and then she asks, you know, Arya, so what do we do when the Lord of Death comes for us? And Arya's like, yeah, not today. And then you see her sneak off. Meanwhile, Jon's being the dumbass that he is. He's on the dragon with Daddy trying to search for the Night King. Night King comes out of nowhere, and they're having a dragon battle. I'm sitting here yelling at the screen the whole time as, like, you know, his dragon and the ice dragon are fighting. It's like, yo, you know you got a Valyrian sword, right? Why don't you just stab the motherfucker in the wing and kill it? If they touch Valyrian steel or obsidian, they're dead. Dragon glass, they're dead. Poke this motherfucker. Take that dragon out now. Jon is just like, oh, ducking. Like, oh, get him, dragon. Oh, yeah. Like, no. This is the thing about it. It's like, Jon, you can't think. You can't think on your feet sometimes. I feel like, you know, he's tough as nails. He's brave. He's courageous. And, you know, man with no fear, whatever. God damn it if he's not a thinker. He is not a fucking thinker whatsoever. Holy shit. Like, I need for Jon to think on his feet. For what? Like, that just annoys me about Jon. I love Jon so, but that fucking annoyed me about Jon. And you know, you get the Night King finally get knocked off by Daenerys dragon and all that, and then you get the setup to where they get to the point where he's on the ground and Daenerys finds him, and she yells Dracarys, thinking, okay, we finally got him where we want him. Gonna burn him with the dragon. We all done. And he's just standing there like, nah, bitch, it ain't that easy. What you think? What you think this? I don't know what you think this is, but it ain't going the way that you think it is. And she's just like all shocked and shit like that. And then she runs away with the dragon because finally she realizes, oh shit, this motherfucker could take down dragons with those like fucking spears. Because he's like, I'm like, he's holding a damn ice spear, like he's pulling it out. You need to run, girl, because you're gonna lose another one of your babies. And thankfully she got away before he could hit her with the spear. And taking a sip of the drink. Whew, this is tiring. I feel like this whole Black Thought is going to be as long as the show. There's a lot to happen. But anyway, yeah. So, you know, you have everything going on with the battle. People like dying, all that stuff. Jon gets on the ground and he sees the Night King on the ground and he starts to run after him. Which, for one, I was like, yo, why are you trying to be sneaky to this guy? run as fast as you can to catch him before he gets to the castle. If he hears you, so be it. You're gonna either have to fight. You're gonna have to fight him for this, but do not let him get to the castle. I didn't really think about it until it happened, but like with John doing the slow crawl, and then the stop after the Night King decides, like, yeah, I know you're there, motherfucker. Like, he always knows when you're there, so I don't know why you were sneaking. Run your ass off. But he turns around and looks at John, and John just stops, and John just stares at him. No. Again, John, I need you to think on your feet. You were there when you last saw him stand still like this, staring at you. What the fuck did he do the last time? He raised his hands and he uplifted the dead. John, you're just standing there knowing that this motherfucker can raise the dead and think. Please, for the love of God, think, John. I wish you would think. Oh, God damn it. Of course he was going to raise everybody who just got killed up. Because it's like his forces are getting depleted and like you guys are holding your own. But let's tip the balance back in my favor. Even though I was going to run up in there and probably mash everybody I could, I'll just make it a little easier for myself. And I'm going to bring up a new army of fucking dead to fucking parlay with. And it's like John's just standing there. Oh, I should run after him and kill him before he does this. Too late. He's already doing his thing. Fucking Jon Snow. God fucking damn him. Whew. Anyway, so you got Jon's up there fighting. In comes Daenerys with the dragon, burning them off, clearing them off, almost losing her fucking dragon because the dead start jumping on her dragon and knocks her dumb ass off. And like she's like, Jon, just go. Like, and Jon runs off before she gets knocked off. And like she's sitting on the ground as the dragon flies off. Like, yo, I gotta shake these motherfuckers off because I ain't going down like this. And she's just surrounded by dead. And you're thinking, okay, well, this is it for Dany. But then out of nowhere, here comes Jorah, her shield, the man who is in love with her. I swear, Jorah. Sometimes I identify with you when it comes to women. God damn it. Always being there to like be there for them and they just don't want to give you none and give you no love. Goddamn shame. Jorah. Even though, you know, Jorah had his moments where I really couldn't stand him too. But you know, dudes do dumb shit for love, I guess. Jon definitely does dumb shit for no reason at all. So at least Jorah got a sort of good reason, you know, to be stupid. Anyway, so you got her and Jorah out there fighting, although Jorah's really doing most of the fighting because Dany can't fight. But I do appreciate that she did pick up a sword and was like, yo, I'm going to at least try. Like, I'm not going to just stand here and be like, oh my God, oh. I mean, I know a lot of people are saying, like, she was basically using Jorah as a meat shield. But he was kind of throwing himself in the blood way of things anyway. And again, she ain't no fighter, so she don't know how to, like, do the back-to-back thing. Like how you had Jaime and Brienne, like, you know, back-to-back, side-by-side. Just, like, fucking, like, you know, covering certain angles and taking out their area, you know, and giving each other the proper space and all that because they're fucking fighters. They know how combat goes. They don't fucking know nothing about no combat. Like, the most she's done in combat ever is get on her dragon and yell Dracoris. Simple. That's easy. I can burn motherfuckers from a dragon. Anybody can. She's never had to really hold a sword in her life, so, you know, but yeah, you have that desperate moment. And this is like the whole show just turned into desperate moments. You get to the point where sometime during all this, Bran decides, okay, I'm going to go away now, which I'm like, what the fuck this means? I guess now you're going to call the Night King to you after all these people died. It's like, oh, now's the right time to do it. Okay, couldn't you just have started doing your chant shit before to draw him out in the beginning? And then, like, maybe save everybody's lives that way? I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. But I guess it was foretold to him or whatever since he's the three-eyed raven. So he calls the ravens and have them all he called the Raven. That's pretty much the reason why the Night King finally showed up anyway. But it's like he's doing that, halfway through the battle, and then we get to this point, and the Night King is just like, yo, okay, I took care of everybody. John's dumbass didn't do what he needed to do to take me out, so, don't have to worry about that shit right there. I'm gonna go up in this castle, like everything's falling like to pieces. The dead are fully broken through. The dragons came through and broke a wall down, and it's just like fucking waylaying people itself. The ice dragon. It's like the crypt is in chaos because when he raised the dead, he also raised the dead in the crypt, and so people in the crypt are starting to get like murdered, and shit like that. Sansa and Tyrion are like holding hands, like holding on for dear life, and stuff like that, trying to hide. Until the bitter end, you see Jaime and Brienne like squabbing. Grey Wolf in the middle of the courtyard, just like taking out everything he could. Tormund, fucking Pod, like getting his man and shit like that. It's like everybody who's still alive and who's able to fight is just like fucking like going crazy. You got the Greyjoys in the Sacred Woods making the last stand, trying to protect Bran. Everybody's going down around Theon. Theon's like the last, and he's just like taking out dead left and right. And then finally, this is like the Night King and his entourage appeared, and Theon's out of arrows, and like his fucking staff is like all fucked up, and it's just all he got left though. And he looks at the Night King, and then he looks at Bran like with the look of defeat. When Bran comes out of his thing, and Bran's like, you know what? Before Theon could say I'm sorry, he was like, "You're a good man, Theon. Thank you for everything you've done." And like the weight lifts off Theon's shoulders because he's been trying to. That was his whole point of protecting Bran. Anyways, like he felt like he had to do something to redeem himself. He wronged Bran. He wronged his family. The way he did things, he killed those children, and wanted to like take the house from him and all that. He just needed to like redeem himself for shit that he regretted. And Bran gave him some closure, so he runs off to try to go at the Night King. Of course, the Night King kills him, and everybody's thinking, "Shit, this is it." Jon finally gets into the courtyard, and he's looking at people like fighting their lives off, and like he's trying to think, "Should I help them? Should I go to the the woods? Should I help them?" It's like, just go to the woods, dude. Like this is one of those situations where I understand you want to help your friends, but it's like, all this will be for nothing if you don't kill this fucking king and end it. Because if he don't die, then saving them means nothing because the world is over. If he gets his hand on Bran. And it's like his hesitation, of course, led to the dragon taking note of him and pinning him down and shit like that. His dumb like war cry with the dragon, like when he realized he can't escape the dragon no more, it's like, well, if your dumbass again would have just ran and stopped stopping and staring, you might have confronted the Night King and took it out before even the dragon did all the damage it did in the fucking courtyard. But no, you don't think. God damn it, Jon. I fucking need you to get a brain. Jesus. The Night King's about to get the Bran, and all of a sudden you just see Arya comes out of nowhere like, "Oh, I'm here, bitch." You're like, "Ah." And she goes to stab him. The Night King catches her, and like she's like, he's holding her neck and shit like that, and she's got the knife in her hand. She's just like really smoothly just drops the knife from one hand, like catches it with the next, and stabs the Night King in the gut. And as soon as he dies, everything around them explodes. Day is saved. I yelped. I like popped. It was a huge pop for me. I screamed "fuck yeah" all loud and shit at 10:30 at night. My neighbors probably was like, "Yo, it's 10:30 on a Sunday. What the fuck is you doing, son?" But hopefully they were watching Game of Thrones too, so they wouldn't have to question me. And it was just like a great, satisfying moment to see that shit happen. It was so awesome. Arya did the damn thing. And whew, that is the end of an exhausting episode. Now, post-episode thoughts. Again, good episode. I'm tired. This episode wore me out. Again, the darkness thing, it didn't affect me, but I understand it affect people. So I can see how it would sour people on that. But if you were one of those people who didn't have that issue with the darkness, then you might have felt just like me. And you're just like all like high on the whole thing. I know people were talking plot holes and things like that. Like, why didn't the Night King's people protect him and all that? Like, they may not have noticed her there. She is an assassin. She knows the place. She snuck on people earlier in the show, in there before as a little kid, and now she's a trained assassin. I heard the theory that she may have like used the many faces tactic and like hid herself among them to catch him. Who knows? Would feel like the Night King could detect something like that. I just think that she was just like really good at getting to him, because we saw her evade the dead and like them not be able to hear her. Like, the only time they heard her was when her blood hit the ground, but they didn't hear her. So she's been trained super well as an assassin, you know. So that comes into account and all that. You know, and again, some of the same critiques were like questions I had, like, John, what the fuck were you doing? Possibly like some of the battle planning was kind of weird, but again, I could say that it fits for that time. If you like ever have looked at or studied how they conducted warfare back then, some people weren't that inventive and won wars still. Like, they just, I don't know, like me personally, the Dothraki would have been held until like they got across the field and hit my front lines, and I would use the Dothraki to be flanking units and like hit the dead from the side, you know, and to like help funnel them into just like a feeder system, possibly. But you know, that probably wouldn't work either, because we're talking about like, what would you do to stop an undead army that isn't going to like do like a regular army? They're not going to back off because they're getting trampled by horses. They're just going to keep coming. They get hit in the sides by like horses. They don't care. Their whole goal is just to go forward anyway and just feed into that thing as they whittle down the front. So, you know, you can say what you will about the battle plan. I don't know if anybody could come up with the perfect way to stop the undead, you know, from mauling them. Yeah, so, you know, that's just all speculation and like talk there, even from my end, and I'm the one criticizing it right now. But yeah, it was wild. Now I know a lot of people were upset that the Night King was dead and he didn't get a grander end and all that. A couple of things. One, I feel like people romanticize the Night King a little too much, and I guess that's one of the flaws of going ahead of the book, because if you've ever read the books, I don't think they've ever mentioned the Night King himself. Yes, they've mentioned the undead, but the Night King himself, no. The undead actually is not that big of a deal in the books yet. The wildlings have more showing than they do, and you don't really get like the conflict between them and the wildlings. In the books, the wildlings in the night, in the undead, like undead are kind of like, yeah, they're there, but they're not the focus. Most of his books are like, I remember the 5th book was mainly focused on John and his like infiltration of the wildlings and getting back home to tell like people when the wildlings are coming. They didn't even really focus on why the wildlings were coming to hit the wall and things like that. And then John got killed. And then the last book, it was mainly like over there with Daenerys, like she had gotten married to some dude to try to like shore up her army, and he was mistreating her, and you had Tyrion somehow find his way over there, and he had like a dwarf girlfriend, so to speak. They were kind of like not necessarily a couple, but they kind of were in a way, because they had an attachment, and he met up with Jorah and all of that, but Jorah and him were like, he was like a slave and Jorah was pretending to be like a mercenary or something, trying to get back into the good graces of Daenerys. And it's totally different. You had another Targaryen in the mix that we haven't been introduced in the show, who came from what's the name of the place where the Viper is from? I forget. Dorne and all of that. It's just a lot of characters that you haven't met in the show. A lot of people who are dead in the show that were alive then, and vice versa. It's just like, nah. Please don't throw the George R. Martin element into the mix, because he don't know what the fuck he's doing at this point, and he's nowhere near where the Night King served this purpose. It was the unifying purpose for the North, and to like rally all the forces that were going to get together to go after Cersei. He didn't need to be a sustainable character or like the end game, because it's, again, the show he kind of, in my opinion, was just a prop to make that unification and give the heroes a better understanding of like where they stand with each other, what their purpose are, and to reassure them as a way of once they go into this final battle. Because if you saw the previews, you heard Daenerys say, we won the Great War. Now let's win the last war. It's like, we've been through this shit. We gotta get through one more. We can do this shit though. We good. I mean, you face the dead. You should be like whatever to fucking Cersei. But it was fine. Like, yeah. People, I just really think people romanticize the Night King way too fucking much. And it's partially in fault because of the writers, because they made him the big baddie for the most part. When the show's always been called Game of Thrones, it has always been about the throne. It has never been about the undead. At least the purpose of the whole, behind the whole show was never intended to be about the Night Dead. So it's actually sensible to get rid of the Night King. Sorry, not Night Dead, but the Night King now, because now you can focus the last 3 episodes on what the actual show was based and intended on being about. So I'm fine with that. I'm good. Because we still got a lot of crazy shit to suss out here. So yeah, but I know I haven't been doing reviews of this show, but I had to talk about that show, and I had to talk about the whole darkness thing, and I had to talk about that whole people's response or reaction. I really think people who read the books probably forget what the books were like and about, because I gotta admit, I forget a lot of shit, and someone reminds me now and then, and I was like, oh yeah, that actually did happen, because the books are totally different. The way that the path of the story is going in the books is nothing compared to where they're gone with the show. So please don't compare the two. They're their own entities at this point. I've always said this, but I tell people this all the time who ask me. I feel like after the Red Wedding, there's little that aligns with that show, including major moments. I think the last major moment that totally aligned with the show and the books was the Viper in the mountain, because it's you had the Red Wedding, you had the Joffrey thing, and you had the mountain and the Viper, and it's after that it's totally gone. What you think happened to the Viper's woman and her daughters, his daughters? Nope, totally different. They're still alive. They're actually doing something different, far from caring about what's going on with the crown and getting revenge on Cersei and all that. Nah, it's totally different thing. Yeah, nah, it's different. It's totally different, y'all. So stop trying to like say they're dropping the ball and shit like that in comparison to what it's supposed to be and how things should go and how they like do characters. And please stop overhyping the Night King. Like, it was an interesting like figure, mysterious figure, but he wasn't the purpose or the goal of the show. Never had been. As Cersei said in the first season, you know, this is the Game of Thrones. You either win or you lose, and that's what the point. You're playing the Game of Thrones here. But anyway, whew, that was tiring. So as always, feel free to hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll hit you later. This your boy Blak Makers in the Mouth, y'all. By the way, stay tuned for a Avengers Endgame spoiler cast soon. All right, deuces.